Shunjung stood beside Yang Xiao with a glass of red wine, looking at me. She frowned impatiently and said, "He's doing this for the company. Don't you know what an important day this is? Showing up to a reception in such a cheap shirt. Even the company uniforms look classier than what you're wearing. When you go out, please don't say you're a manager at Win Group. You're embarrassing me." Today's banquet was a celebration for the company's new product launch, with all our industry partners invited. Just as I was about to get off work, Yang Xiao informed me that Shun Zheng wanted me to prepare a contract first and show it to him. Once he's satisfied, I could go to the banquet. I finished the contract, but Yang Xiao nitpicked, making me revise it 7 or 8 times. He finally relented when it was almost time for the banquet. I didn't have time to change into formal attire, and to avoid disrupting the event, I rushed over directly from the company. As a result, I had just grabbed a glass of red wine at the table and turned around when I bumped into Yang Xiao. He looked me up and down mockingly, then said, "Manager Gu, it's inappropriate for you to attend such an important banquet wearing such cheap clothes. Aren't you embarrassing President Shun and tarnishing the company's image?" He glanced at the red wine I had just sipped, narrowing his eyes. "Do you know how much a bottle of this wine costs? This is for the big shots of Haicheng. What's your status? How can you just pick it up and drink it? Do you deserve it?" I looked around with my glass. Many people were drinking. He was clearly targeting me. I shrugged indifferently. He was Shun Zheng's assistant, and I was a department manager. Logically, my position wasn't lower than his, but because of Shun Zheng's indulgence and favoritism, Yang Xiao was now lawless in the company. He respected no one except Shun Zheng, especially me. I looked at him and took another sip of the wine. I don't think there's anything that makes me unworthy of drinking this glass of red wine. Isn't this a celebration banquet? As the manager of the R&D department, who developed the company's latest product, I'm actually not worthy of a glass of red wine. He laughed loudly and said, "Everyone listen to this. Manager Gu says the company's new product was developed by him. Manager Gu, where do you get such nerve? At the new product launch this morning, I was the one who spoke on stage, and I'm the one whose name is on the product development. You say you developed it? Who would believe that?" Thinking of this, my heart sank. Because of this product, I had toiled for a year, leading my colleagues in countless tests day and night. But when the product was successfully developed, Shun Zheng came to me just before the launch. "Gu Xin, I hope you can consider the company's position this time. The senior management has decided that the credited developer for this project will be Yang Xiao. This press conference is crucial, and we're about to negotiate a partnership with Haicheng's Gu Corporation. Your image isn't the best, and you tend to stutter when you're nervous, which could seriously damage our company's image." Yang Xiao said he wouldn't mind stepping up and giving the presentation. "You know, he has a great image. Anyway, the company's senior management knows you're the developer, and you'll get the bonus. Just let go of the public recognition." Of course, I refused. My face flushed. I don't agree. Why should something I developed be credited to him? And why should he present it? Customers care about the product, not the developer's appearance. Shun Zheng's face darkened. "Gu Xin, because you're my husband, I've already given you a lot of leeway. If it were anyone else, I'd simply give the order. If they disagreed, they could leave the company. Gu Xin, the company doesn't depend on you. This is my decision, and you just need to follow it." I stared at Shun Zheng, who felt increasingly unfamiliar, in disbelief. When she started her business in Luo City, I gave up everything in Haicheng to be with her, to help build her empire, constantly developing new products to break into the market. Back then, I took our products and went from company to company, demonstrating their performance. Shun Zheng always said, with deep emotion, "Honey, thank you for working so hard for me." At that time, she never complained that I wasn't handsome enough, nor did she mind my stutter when I got nervous. Over the years, I developed countless new products for the company, single-handedly establishing Fengyang Group's position in Luo City. This led to today's achievements, enabling us to negotiate investment with the Gu Corporation. But Shun Zheng had forgotten all of this. She looked down at me from her high position, telling me the company's decision with a disdainful expression, that the product developer was now Yang Xiao. And apart from our department colleagues, no one knew the truth. So, when Yang Xiao loudly humiliated me here, saying he was the product developer and not me, everyone sided with him. Is Manager Gu drunk? Wasn't it Yang Xiao who presented at the new product launch this morning? Why is Gu Xin trying to steal the credit? and he often comes to work in such plain clothes. He's not worthy of President Shun. President Shun and Assistant Yang are a much better match. I looked at Yang Xiao and retorted loudly. You say you developed the product. Then can you tell me where the parameters inside are derived from? Do you know the critical weakness of the chip inside this product? Yang Xiao was stumped, his face turning ugly. The onlookers began to whisper. What's going on? Why can't Yang Xiao say anything? I heard there's more to the story. President Shun wanted Yang Xiao to take the credit, apparently, to promote him to manager. No way. I've heard for a while that they have a close relationship. The whispers grew louder, and Yang Xiao's expression changed. He leaned in close to me. Even if everyone believed you, what good would it do? Shunzheng won't help you. She's long been disgusted with you. How did you become such a failure? Look at you. You're not worthy of Shunzheng in any way. You should just give up your position. After he finished speaking, he forcefully knocked my wine glass over, shattering it on the floor with a clang, spilling red wine everywhere. Yang Xiao took a step back and shouted, Gu Xian, do you know how expensive this wine is? Just because I said your clothes were inappropriate, you shouldn't smash the glass in anger. Don't you know the guests from Haicheng are arriving soon? Hurry up and clean up the wine. I sneered. You spilled it. Why should I clean it up? What's with the innocent act? Do you think there are no surveillance cameras in this hall? Yang Xiao hadn't expected me to be so defiant. His face instantly darkened, at a loss for words. Slap! A hand struck my face. It was Shunzheng, who had just left and hurried back. Standing beside Yang Xiao, she declared loudly, You can't even hold a glass of wine steady. You're an embarrassment. Yang Xiao is right. The guests from Haicheng are about to arrive. Clean this up immediately. I looked at her incredulously. Yang Xiao did this on purpose. Shunzheng frowned. Gu Xian, I don't want to hear your excuses. Clean this up right now, and then apologize to Yang Xiao. Yang Xiao pulled her close, a wronged look on his face. Forget it, President Shun. He's her husband after all. It's nothing. Manager Gu has been targeting me for a while now. I've already decided. Once this deal goes through, I'm resigning. Shunzheng patted his hand and looked at me. Apologize immediately until Yang Xiao forgives you. I stared at their tightly clasped hands. What if I don't apologize? Yang Xiao suddenly smiled. No apology? Fine, lick the wine off the floor. This wine costs over 100,000 yuan a bottle. I got it through connections directly from the vineyard overseas. There are only a few bottles, bought to please the guests. You're not worthy of drinking it. Now here's your chance. Kneel down and lick the wine off the floor, and I'll let it go. Shunzheng nodded. Do as Yang Xiao says. If you're so stubborn, lick it off the floor. Over 100,000 yuan a bottle. That's 10,000 yuan for this glass. Do you even have that kind of money? I looked at her, my heart sinking. After I married Shunzheng, my salary card and all my money were in her hands. Every month, she'd transfer a few hundred yuan to my WeChat for pocket money. I didn't really care. I'm not someone with high demands in life. But for her to deliberately say in public that I should come up with 10,000 yuan when I couldn't possibly do it at a moment's notice. She knew I couldn't, yet she still said it. She was intentionally using this opportunity to humiliate me. I saw the glint of triumph in her eyes as she tilted her chin up. Can't pay? Then you'll have to do as Yang Xiao says. You're really such an embarrassment. Hurry up and lick it clean. Yang Xiao, half embracing Shunzheng, smiled smugly. Or you can take off your shirt and wipe it up. Anyway, your shirt is probably 10 yuan from a roadside stall. Doesn't even have a label. Here, take 100. Go buy 10 of them tomorrow. Consider a reward. He finished, pulling out a red 100 yuan bill and slapping across my face. No need to thank me. This 100 yuan is enough for you to buy a year's worth of shirts. I looked at the shirt I was wearing, 10 yuan apiece. I sneered inwardly. The shirt I was wearing was a custom-made, handmade shirt, one of which was more expensive than the wine he was talking about. I didn't say a word, staring at them expressionlessly. Assistant Yang, I think you've been scammed with that wine. As far as I know, the winery that produces this wine is no longer selling to the public. They were recently acquired because someone liked their taste so much they bought the entire winery. Starting last year, this foreign winery has stopped all sales. Are you sure you didn't buy a counterfeit? Yang Xiao's face was ashen. You wouldn't know, you hillbilly, you only drink the cheap stuff in a supermarket. You don't know anything. Now lick that wine off the floor immediately. Either you pay up, or I'll call the police on you for damaging our property. I looked at the people around me, pointing and whispering, then at Shun Zheng, who was comforting Yang Xiao. She glanced at the clock, then back at me. Do you have any idea how long we've been preparing for today's collaboration? Are you going to wait until the people from Haiqing's Gu Corporation arrive to see this mess before you're satisfied? Clean this up right now. The Gu Corporation, I scoffed inwardly. They would never collaborate with Shun Zheng, a company run by someone with such questionable character. Partnering with them would be asking for trouble. I looked at Shun Zheng, my voice steady. Shun Zheng, do you really not regret humiliating your own husband in public with your little assistant? Shun Zheng's voice rose. My biggest regret is marrying a useless man like you. You can't do anything right. If you'd listened to my arrangements, I might have allowed you to stay by my side. Otherwise, I'll be seriously considering whether our marriage should continue. I gave a cold laugh. No need to consider. There's no point in our marriage continuing. Shun Zheng looked at me. What do you mean? I looked at her, disappointment etched on my face. Shun Zheng, since we married, I thought I'd given you my heart and soul. For your company, over these past 4 years, how many products have I developed for you, allowing you to gain a foothold in Luo City? But today, when you told me to give the credit for the product development to Yang Xiao, I knew our marriage had reached its end. What you and your assistant have been doing behind my back, you know in your heart. But from today on, we're finished. I'll make an appointment with a lawyer. We're getting divorced. Shun Zheng gave a mocking laugh. You're divorcing me? Haha, don't be ridiculous. You're a pauper. Are you willing to give up my money? You'll be penniless without me. Let me tell you, the company shares and everything else. I won't give you any of it. I looked at her as if I'd never known her. Doesn't matter. I turned to leave, but Yang Xiao stepped forward, blocking my way. Stop right there. Either lick up the wine, or take off your clothes and wipe it up. Otherwise, we're calling the police. I looked at Yang Xiao's smug face, then at Shun Zheng's expressionless demeanor, allowing him to do as he pleased. My heart sank. I'll pay you tomorrow. Yang Xiao shook his head. Either pay now, or clean it up. A smile played on his lips. If you don't do it, I'll have someone help you. He beckoned, and a security guard emerged from the corner. He pointed at me. Help him take off his shirt, and watch him wipe up the wine on the floor. The security guard rushed forward, 2 of them holding me down, while another started unbuttoning my shirt. Soon, the shirt was ripped off and thrown on the ground. Start wiping. My eyes were bloodshot, fixed on Shun Zheng. Shun Zheng, don't you regret this? Shun Zheng tilted her chin up. I never regret any of my decisions. Yang Xiao kicked me from behind at the bend of my knee. I fell to the ground with a thud. The security guard pressed my hand onto the shirt. Hurry up and clean it. More and more people gathered to watch, pointing and whispering, the mocking sounds growing louder. President Shun, the people from the Gu Corporation have arrived. Someone rushed over to Shun Zheng and said. Several people in suits walked in from outside. Shun Zheng and Yang Xiao greeted them with smiles. Mr. Zhang, welcome to Luo City, and welcome to our Fingyang's new product launch celebration. I raised my head, and the eyes of Mr. Zhang, the leader of the group, fell on my face. His expression suddenly changed drastically. Young Master Gu, what are you doing here? Having said that, he jogged over. The security guards holding me back were bewildered. President Zhang pushed them aside and helped me up, his face filled with alarm. What happened? Why aren't you wearing clothes? And your arm is injured? Young Master Gu, what are you doing in Luo City? Your father is worried sick. Shun Zheng and Yang Xiao walked over, looking utterly confused. Yang Xiao wore a fawning smile. President Zhang, you know him? President Zhang was furious. Of course, I know him. He's the only son of our Chairman Gu. He left home a few years ago and hasn't been back. Chairman Gu has been searching for him everywhere. What's going on here? Why was young Master Gu being held down and stripped of his clothes? Someone, quickly fetch a set of clothes. An assistant immediately hurried out and returned with a spare set of clothing from a car outside, which I put on. Shun Zheng's expression was a mixture of surprise and uncertainty. Could there be some misunderstanding? He's just a minor department manager in our company. How could he be Chairman Gu's son? Yang Xiao added, That's right, President Zhang. Are you sure you haven't mistaken him for someone else? Don't listen to the lies of some swindlers. There are some lowlifes who sneak in just to eat and drink for free, seeking undeserved fame. President Zhang's face flushed with anger. Nonsense. How could I mistake young Master Gu? He's a lowlife? I think you're the lowlife. He then turned to me. Young Master Gu, are you all right? I rubbed my sore arm and said, Uncle Zhang, I'm fine. It's just that President Shun and Assistant Yang falsely accused me of spilling their wine and demanded that I kneel down and clean it up before they would let me go. Enraged, President Zhang turned and slapped Yang Xiao across the face. Who do you think you are? Threatening our young master to clean the floor over a mere glass of wine. Yang Xiao clutched his face and looked at Shun Zhang aggrievedly. President Shun. Shun Zhang's face darkened slightly. President Zhang, this is Fingyang's territory. Even if you want to beat a dog, you should consider its owner. Assistant Yang was merely stating the truth, and you resort to violence. I stepped forward. I represent the Gu Group, and I am telling you, the Gu Group will never cooperate with Fengyang. Yang Xiao scoffed. Can you even make that decision? Acting like you're really young Master Gu. Who can prove it? I kicked Yang Xiao in the stomach. He let out a cry and doubled over in pain, rolling on the floor. Who do you think you are? Didn't you say I wouldn't be able to leave this place if I didn't pay? Didn't you say you'd call the police? And I picked up an unopened bottle of red wine from a nearby table. I believe the Gu Group has already acquired this winery and ceased external sales. Uncle Zhang, immediately have someone investigate who internally violated company policy and secretly sold red wine to the outside. Find this mole for me. President Zhang nodded. Yes, I'll take care of it immediately. Shunjing finally realized something was amiss. She came forward and looked at me with a mixture of shock and doubt. Husband, are you really the son of Chairman Gu of the Gu Group? The future heir of the Gu Group? I raised my hand to stop her. Don't call me husband. Half an hour ago, you said you wouldn't regret any of your decisions today, and I said that our marriage didn't need to continue. I will have my lawyer draft a divorce agreement. We're getting divorced. Shunjung shook her head. No, I was just speaking out of anger. Husband, we've been through so much together over the years. How can you bear to leave me? I don't want to divorce you. Yang Xiao suddenly rushed over and pointed at President Zhang and his group, shouting, President Shun, they're fakes. I just received news that the Gu Group's car coming to Luo City had a breakdown and is stuck on the road. How could they possibly be at the banquet now? They're all actors that Gu Xian hired to impersonate people from the Gu Group. They are all imposters. Shinjung looked at me. Gu Xian, you hired actors to play this scene. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to ruin our cooperation with the Gu Group? I'm really disappointed in you. Yang Xiao smiled smugly. Gu Xian, no matter how well you plan, you can't beat the truth. Anything fake will be exposed. I watched him rant like a mad dog. President Zhang sneered. Our car did break down and get stuck on the road. Chairman Gu sent a helicopter to bring us here. Yang Xiao burst into laughter. A helicopter? Do you think this is some romantic drama? Stuck on the road. Rescued by a helicopter? Someone, tie these people up and call the police. Before we could react, a group of security guards rushed over and tied up me, President Zhang, and his group. Yang Xiao slapped me across the face, then kicked me, followed by a flurry of punches and kicks. What's wrong? Weren't you the young master of the Gu family? Why isn't anyone coming to your rescue? Weren't you so powerful? Call your father to come and hit me. Why don't you call Chairman Gu to come and beg you? Aren't you his only son? Why isn't he here? He kicked me repeatedly. I felt a sharp pain in my abdomen, and a coppery taste filled my throat. I heard someone was looking for me. A stern voice sounded from behind. Chairman Gu, why are you here? Several people from the Gu Group exclaimed in surprise. It was Dad. My vision blurred, and I spat out a mouthful of blood. The bodyguards behind Dad rushed forward, sending Yang Xiao flying with a single punch. You dare hit my son? Beat him to within an inch of his life. Dad ordered, and the bodyguards charged, beating Yang Xiao and a group of security guards half to death. I leaned against Dad. Dad, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have disobeyed you. I've thought it through, and I'll go back to Haicheng with you. Xinjiang's face had long turned pale from the shocking scenes. She called out in a trembling voice, Dad. Dad stopped her. I don't deserve that title from you. Shenzheng, with tears in her voice, Dad, since Gu Xian and I got married, he has never mentioned his family. I thought he was just from an ordinary family. I absolutely didn't mean any disrespect to you. I looked at her feigned demeanor and laughed sarcastically. So, because I'm just from an ordinary family, you can insult me as you please, manipulate me as you wish. Is that it? Also, the product I developed, you changed the authorship to Yang Xiao. I will pursue legal action against you. Shun Zheng hurriedly explained. Gu Exen, this is all a misunderstanding. We can talk it over. Weren't we going to discuss the cooperation with the Gu Group? I can hold a press conference to clarify that you are the developer, not Yang Xiao. Now you are part of the Gu Group. Our Feng Yang and the Gu Group cooperating, the company's business will definitely flourish. Feng Yang was founded by the two of us. You have half of the company. I will immediately have a lawyer draw up a contract to transfer half of the shares to you. I coldly rejected her. There's no need. I don't care. Dad looked coldly at Yang Xiao, who was beaten half to death. The Gu Group wouldn't even give such a Feng Yang group a second glance. Dad paid them no more attention and took me to the hospital. When I woke up in the hospital the next day, Shun Zheng was sitting beside me, her eyes red from crying. She held my hand tightly. Husband, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I didn't know Yang Xiao was such a person. He actually bribed the security guards. So last night when he called people to threaten you, to beat you, I really didn't know he did it on purpose. I pulled my hand away. I didn't know. Weren't you and he saying together that I was useless in the company and that you had long wanted to kick me out of the company? Shun Zheng shook her head. No, those weren't my true feelings. How could I possibly kick you out of the company? That's something we built together. I looked at the ceiling. Shun Zheng, are you really apologizing? Or are you coming to make peace because I'm the young master of the Gu family? We both know the truth. If I weren't from the Gu family, right now, I might not even be alive. Last night, when Yang Xiao was kicking and punching me, she didn't say a word, just stood there watching me struggle in pain. I turned my head away. I don't think there's any need for us to talk further. Please leave. Because I reported Feng Yang for stealing my R&D results and changing the developer to Yang Xiao. Yang Xiao immediately cleared himself of responsibility. It was President Shun who told me to do it. She said that Manager Gu's image was not good and that he would stutter when giving presentations. My image is good, so she asked me to sign it and present it as the developer. Shun Zheng was so angry that her face turned red, and she pointed at him and scolded. Bullshit. It was obviously you. You sweet-talked me, begged me to give you Gu Xian's R&D results, saying that if you had this achievement, it would be justified for me to promote you next time. Yang Xiao argued. It was clearly you who said you wanted to divorce Manager Gu. You seduced me, saying you wanted to promote me so that it would look good for you to be with me in the future. It was clearly you who was vain, and now you're pushing it on me. And General Manager Zhang's investigation into the winery incident also yielded results. It turned out that Yang Xiao had bribed an employee at the winery with company funds to buy several cases of wine, and he also inflated the amount, making the company pay twice the price. Following the clues, they found that Yang Xiao had taken advantage of his position, using sweet words to confuse Shun Zheng and get her to sign many documents for him. As a result, when the company's accounts were checked, it was discovered that he had embezzled millions of yuan in company funds. The houses and cars under his name were all bought with embezzled public funds. Seeing Yang Xiao under investigation, people immediately began to report him, citing instances of him abusing his authority, threatening and harassing female colleagues, and bullying coworkers. Shun Zheng, looking at the pile of evidence against Yang Xiao, stormed into his office and threw it all at him. Yang Xiao, how could you do this to me? I trusted you so much, and you embezzled public funds. I pay you tens of thousands a month, and you still needed to steal? Yang Xiao pushed her away, his face full of disgust. You think tens of thousands is a lot? I spend all day working with you, and then I have to go on dates with you after work. I put in so much effort. What's wrong with taking a little money? Do you still think you're so charming that I should accompany you for free? You can't possibly think I'm in love with you. If you hadn't said you'd divorce Gu Xian and marry me, I wouldn't have bothered playing with you for so long. At your age, you should know better. If I'm not after your money, am I supposed to be after your age? These mocking words struck Shun Zheng's face like a series of slaps. Her face turned pale, and she stared at him blankly. So you've been lying to me all along. All those heartfelt words were fake. A glint of ruthlessness flashed in her eyes. In that case, don't blame me for being cruel. She turned and left the office, went straight to the police, and had Yang Xiao arrested. Embezzling millions in public funds was enough to put him in jail for over a decade. And Feng Yang, because of the incident with the fake product developer, was looked down upon in the industry. People said that I was originally from Feng Yang and also Shun Zheng's husband. If Shun Zheng could do such a thing, her character was truly worrying. Feng Yang had initially thought that cooperation with the Gu Group was a sure thing. But because of me, it became completely impossible. Other companies in the industry also knew that the Gu Group was unwilling to cooperate, and that Feng Yang had offended them. Who would dare to cooperate with Feng Yang? Feng Yang's new product didn't have enough funding to go into production and launch, and although a large amount of money had been invested up front, there was no new funding coming in. Feng Yang's capital chain was suddenly broken, and the entire Feng Yang Group became precarious. After I was discharged from the hospital, I went back to Haisher with my father. All the divorce matters were handed over to a lawyer. To my surprise, Shun Zheng not only refused to sign the divorce agreement, but also follow me to my home in Haicheng. When she saw me, she rushed over and hugged me tightly. Husband, I don't want a divorce. I really know I was wrong now. I won't sign. What can I do to make you forgive me? I pushed her away. Shun Zheng, you know we can never go back to the way things were. Why are you clinging to me? Shun Zheng looked at me with red eyes, her voice choked with sobs. But, husband, I'm carrying your child. I was stunned. A child? Shun Zheng and I had been married for 4 years, and she had always been unwilling to have children. At first, she said her career hadn't taken off yet, and later she said she was too busy with her career. Even if she had a child, she wouldn't have time to raise it, so it would be better to consider having children after the company went public. But now she was telling me she was pregnant, but I looked at her hand, caressing her belly. I asked her, how many months? She was delighted by my response, and looked at me shyly. 3 months already. Yesterday morning, I felt nauseous and wanted to vomit, and then I fainted. I was sent to the hospital, and that's when I found out I was pregnant. Husband, are you happy? She nestled close to me, looking up at me. Husband, haven't you always wanted a child? Now that we have a child, I will definitely be a good mother and a good wife. When the child is born, we will love him together and make him the happiest baby in the world. Okay? Her face was flushed with shyness, her eyes filled with anticipation as she looked at me, radiating the blissful glow of motherhood, her entire demeanor softening. I looked at her and asked, do you have the test results? She pulled out the blood test and ultrasound reports from her bag, which indicated a pregnancy of 12 weeks, confirming she was indeed 3 months pregnant. I gently withdrew my arm from her tight embrace, stared at her intently, and said softly, Shun Zheng, you seem to have forgotten we haven't been together for half a year. You alone know who the father of this child is. How ironic. The child she clung to like a lifeline was not mine. I had once so desperately wanted a child. If this child had truly been mine, I might have seriously considered giving her another chance. But the thought of us not having been together for 6 months, while she was 3 months pregnant, felt like life was playing a cruel joke on me. It was too ironic. The color drained from Shun Zheng's face. It was as if she had just remembered that we, as a couple, had not had any intimate life for a long time. This child was solid proof of her infidelity. Tears streamed down her face as she shook her head vehemently. No, this child must be yours. How could it be someone else's? You must be mistaken, my husband. Really, I would never have a child with anyone else. It's truly yours. I stood up, looking down at her with disgust and disdain. Shun Zheng, stop deceiving yourself. Your eagerness for my forgiveness isn't because you love me, but because you're at your wit's end and trying to grasp at me as your lifeline. Unfortunately for you, I'm not a soft-hearted person, especially not towards someone who has cheated on me and betrayed me like you have. Tomorrow, I'll have my lawyer contact you again to sign the divorce papers. It doesn't matter if you don't sign. We'll just see each other in court. I believe any judge, seeing someone who has committed adultery, would understand my desire for a divorce. If you don't want Feng Yang's situation to worsen and your reputation to be further tarnished, I suggest you sign willingly, so we can part ways amicably. After Shun Zheng returned, She quickly signed the divorce agreement. A month later, our divorce was finalized. Her belly had started to show slightly. She looked at me, hesitating to speak, but I didn't give her the chance, turning and leaving immediately. I no longer wanted any connection with her whatsoever. Feng Yang's funding had dried up, and no one was willing to take over their later collaborations. Whether I had ordered it at Gu or not, it was destined that Feng Yang was suppressed. Feng Yang had been built up in my hands, and I would rather see it destroyed by my own hands than have it belong to anyone else. 6 months later, Feng Yang declared bankruptcy. On television, I saw Shan Zheng, the president of Feng Yang Group, heavily pregnant and looking haggard. Because of her pregnancy, she couldn't wear makeup, making her appear even more worn and exhausted. Later, I heard that she had given birth to a daughter, suffered severe hemorrhaging during labor, and after being rescued, was told by doctors that she would never be able to have children again. No one knew where she went with the child, but no longer cared about any of that. At the end of that same year, on my 30th birthday, my father held a press conference at the Gu Corporation, officially announcing that he was handing over the reins to me. I became the new successor of the Gu Corporation. My future was bright and full of possibilities.